Hello and welcome to the Aunty Lisa show. Today on the Aunty Lisa show we have got dinosaurs, the aquarium, a forklift, super strength, sky and a ghost called Moonlanding. One day Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer decided to go on a fun day out to the aquarium. Seems like a good idea. So, pack their bags with snacks because you know how expensive the cafes are in these places, and some money to spend in the gift shop, and that's all. And they went to the aquarium. And they saw some super cool things like sharks and sea turtles and even stingrays. Stingrays are really cool, although deadly if you're unlucky. Anyway, so they were enjoying themselves at the aquarium and they just made it to the most fun part of the aquarium, which is the feely tanks, which is pretty not very fun for the fish and animals that live in the feely tanks, but amazing fun for the people who get to come along and poke things like anemones and pick up crabs and, I don't know, stroke a fish. Feely tanks were great fun. And they were just enjoying themselves, putting their hands in the water and swirling it around and poking anemones, which feel like jelly, by the way. When who should turn up but Sky off of the Paw Patrol. She's not appeared in a story in a long time. Anyway, she came bounding over, as dogs do, and she was like, "Hi, you guys, how are you? Haven't seen you in ages." And Aleksander and Kristoffer were like, "Wow, it's Sky. How are you doing, Sky?" And she said, "Oh, I'm great. It's brilliant in here at the aquarium, isn't it?" And Aunty Lisa said, "Yeah. Have you tried out the feely tanks yet?" And Sky said, "I'm a bit short to reach up, actually. Do you think you could help me?" So they all of them worked together to lift Sky up so she could poke a paw into the feely tank and poked a crab. But the crab pinched her on the paw and she went, "Ow!" And they decided that perhaps the feely tank wasn't for Sky. Anyway, after that horrible shock, they decided to go to the gift shop, which was a great idea because the gift shop is full of all sorts of amazing toys and, you know, gifts and things. So they were all checking out the gift shop, and in a strange twist for gift shops, there was some dinosaur toys in there as well. So Aleksander and Kristoffer were just eyeing up the dinosaur toys, and Sky was wondering if she really did need a mask that made her look like a shark. She thought perhaps it would be fun to scare the other Paw Patrollers. When something very strange happened. And it was all the lights turned off. And it was pitch black. And everyone went, "Why is it pitch black in the gift shop? Where's the electricity gone?" And all the people in the gift shop stood still, wondering what was going to happen next. Was it a power cut? Nobody knew. The lady on the checkout said she didn't know either. And then something even stranger happened. All the toys in the gift shop started floating up into the sky. Well, you know, the air, not the sky, because they were inside. Anyway, all the toys started whizzing around. Everyone was like, "Ah, no, flying toys!" A toy stegosaurus nearly knocked Aunty Lisa out. Left a nasty cut on her face. Sky was trying to chase some toy balls because she just couldn't resist. And Aleksander and Kristoffer were trying to catch the toy cars and the toy dinosaurs, of course, with some nets that they'd found in a section where you could collect nets to go rock pooling. Anyway, all of this was whizzing around, including the sweets. So the best part about this part of the story is that there were sweets flying around. And so every now and again you got hit in the face with a chocolate. Yeah, ow, ooh, chocolate. So everyone was a little bit freaked out because normally the toys in the gift shop don't go flying around all crazy. And all of a sudden, all the toys dropped out of the air and landed on the ground. Some of them broke. It was a shame. And then something went, ooh. And everyone went, uh-oh, I think it's a ghost. Ooh, went the strange apparition. Ooh, it was kind of see-through and kind of weird looking. It was a little bit green and it had what appeared to be ginormous eyes. Aleksander went, Aunty Lisa, I think it's a ghost. Kristoffer went, so do I. Sky went, a ghost? Ah! Dogs don't like ghosts. And she started barking at it. Anyway, by and by, the spooky thing went, ooh, I am a ghost called Moonlanding. Aunty Lisa said, that's a strange name. The ghost went, no, it's not. I come from the moon. I came here after the humans landed on the moon and brought me back down to earth. And I lived among you until one fateful day I died. And I became this ghost called Moonlanding. And this aquarium is on the very site of my old home. And Aunty Lisa said, oh, that is an interesting story. But I didn't think there was any aliens on the moon, actually. Are you sure you're an alien from the moon that came back when the people landed on the moon 60 years ago? Was it 60 years ago? Quite a long time ago. Yeah, probably 60 years ago. Oh, wow, 50 maybe. Anyway, and he went, of course I am. But I'm actually not an alien from the moon. And Aleksander said, well, you just told us you were an alien from the moon, so can you please make your mind up? And by the way, are you a good alien or a bad alien or a mean ghost or a nice ghost? Because I need to know before I zap you. And Kristoffer went, yeah, we need to know before we zap you. And Moonlanding and the ghost went, woo, I am a very angry ghost. And Aunty Lisa said, but why are you angry? It's a nice aquarium, isn't it? Moonlanding went, oh, fine, yes, it's a nice aquarium. I do like the feely tanks. And Aunty Lisa said, well, what's the problem then, Moonlanding? And he said, well, this used to be my home. And then one day, some builders came along and they built this aquarium on it. And I've been trying to spook people away ever since. And I do all sorts of things like scare the fish in the fish tank so they swim extra fast. But it just encourages people to come along. And I poke the fish in the feely tank and it just encourages more people to come along. And I just don't know what to do. I just want my home back, but they squashed it. Aunty Lisa said, oh, that is a shame that they squashed your home. What if, would you be less angry if we gave you a new home? And Moonlanding the ghost said, well, maybe, but it was a very special home. Kristoffer said, how special? We are very good at building things. We could probably build you a new home, even though you are a ghost and technically probably don't need a home. And the ghost went, of course I need a home. I've got to have somewhere to haunt, haven't I? Everybody in the gift shop by now was just staring at Moonlanding the ghost like... Some people had their phones out and were trying to film the whole thing. Moonlanding went... Put your phones down. Nobody should see me. I'm a scary ghost. And everyone went, you're not that scary, actually, Moonlanding. Aunty Lisa said, you're not that scary, Moonlanding. You're the least scary ghost I've seen in a long time. And we've seen quite a few ghosts, actually. So Moonlanding said, okay, well, fine. Shall we, let's go to the cafe. So, after he'd put back all the toys and all the sweets on Aunty Lisa's insistence that he should put the toy shop back to how it should be, the gift shop, they went to the cafe with Moonlanding the ghost. And they disguised Moonlanding the ghost in a jacket and a hat so that people would just think it was a slightly strange-looking child. Anyway, so they sat there and had some cake and some tea and thought about what to do next. Moonlanding said that he would really like a house that looked like a rocket. Well, a house that looked like a rocket. By this time, Sky was getting her thinking cap on. Said Sky. And Aunty Lisa said, "What's that, Sky?" Sky said, "Well, I think we could probably find a house that looks like a rocket. I once went to a playground where there was a rocket-shaped house thing that you could play in, and it had a slide." Moonlanding said, "That would be amazing! A slide in my very own house?" Aunty said, "Yes, but you would have to not haunt the children, Moonlanding. That's really important that we don't scare the children." Moonlanding said, "Oh, but I like children, really. I just didn't like them building an aquarium on my old house." So, they went on a little trip in Sky's helicopter. Of course, because why wouldn't you? So Sky took them all up into the sky, and they started scouting around looking for the playground that Sky remembered had a rocket-shaped climbing frame in. And eventually, they found it. Dun, dun, dun. But it wasn't where she thought it was. It was actually a playground that was at the Science Museum. Which makes a lot of sense when you think that the Science Museum probably has a big section on space. And Moonlanding said, "Oh, the Science Museum? That is exciting. Maybe I could haunt the Science Museum a little bit as well and live in the rocket-shaped house. How would that be?" And Auntie said, "As long as you don't scare the people. You have to be a friendly ghost. Otherwise, we know some ghost hunters that will zap you." Moonlanding said, "Okay, I promise I will not scare anybody. But hey, let's go and have a little trip round the Science Museum, shall we?" So they all went round the Science Museum. And in the Science Museum, they were putting together a new display. And there was a forklift. Well, the forklift was lifting up a spaceship. An old decommissioned spaceship. And Moonlanding looked at that old decommissioned spaceship and was beside himself with joy. "A spaceship! Almost just like the one that I came down to Earth in that very first day," said Moonlanding. And he jumped inside the forklift and started whizzing it around the Science Museum at the speed of, well, very fast for a forklift. Aunty Lisa said, No, Moonlanding, you mustn't take over machinery like that. It's very dangerous. Forklifts can squash people flat. They're very heavy. You have to have a special license, Moonlanding. You must not operate a forklift." Moonlanding went, "Oh, can we look around the spaceship, please?" Well, how could Aunty Lisa say no? So, they asked very nicely at the museum, and the museum people said that yes, they could look around the spaceship, as long as they promised not to try and fly it off into the sky or anything. All was going very well. They were looking around the spaceship. Now, the thing you don't know about ghosts is that sometimes they can have electromagnetic waves and stuff. And they can make electricity out of nothing. And what actually happened was this. Moonlanding sneezed. And all the electric circuits in the spaceship went. They'd suddenly been fired up. Uh-oh. It was almost about to take off into the air. And then Aunty Lisa said, "No! We don't want to fly the spaceship. They told us especially not to fly the spaceship, Moonlanding." And he went, "I got..." The spaceship flew up through the roof of the Science Museum, out into space. Oh no! Everyone started floating around inside the spaceship. Aunty Lisa had a great time floating around for a little bit and then realised, how are we going to get back down to Earth? This is a nightmare. Oh no, I'm going to be in so much trouble with the Science Museum. We have to buy them a new roof. Well, they whizzed around in space for a little while. And then they came to land on Mars, which seems like it should take longer than it did, but it actually wasn't that far away at all. So they landed on Mars, and on Mars, they hopped out of the spaceship, and the strangest thing was found. They found on Mars a little teeny tiny colony of teeny tiny weeny dinosaurs. That's right. On Mars, they found a teeny tiny colony of teeny tiny dinosaurs that had evolved to be extra small to make the most of the very limited amount of food that was available on Mars. Everyone was super surprised. Aleksander and Kristoffer really wanted to take a dinosaur home each. Aunty Lisa said, no, all we should do is take photos and that's it. And then we can go back down to Earth and we can let everybody know. Okay, said Aleksander and Kristoffer, and they got out their phones to take loads of photos. Moonlanding and Sky were having a great time too. They'd invented a new game called Chase the Alien, and they were running around playing Chase the Alien, and it was a bit like It or Tag, but with an alien. Anyway, by and by, Aunty Lisa found something strange, even stranger than the teeny tiny dinosaurs on the floor. And it looked like a cake. And we all know how Aunty Lisa feels about cake, which is that she loves it. And she was like, I wonder how long this cake's been here. I wonder who made this cake. Moonlanding said, I'm sure it's fine, Aunty Lisa. Aleksander and Kristoffer said, I wouldn't eat that, Aunty Lisa. You shouldn't eat cake that you find on the floor. Sky had to agree, even though she's a dog and dogs will eat anything. Aunty said, but I'm really hungry and it does look like a really nice cake. I mean, it's only on Mars. It's probably just been left here by a previous visitor and, you know, it's fine. Anyway, it was still in a packet or a box, so Aunty Lisa thought it was probably okay, which it wasn't, because she ate it, and then all of a sudden, she grew to twice the size. And gained super strength. And she went, hello, everybody. What happened? I've turned into a super strong monster auntie. Ooh. Everyone went, what just happened? We were playing with the teeny tiny dinosaurs and you. We told you not to eat that cake, Aunty Lisa. Aunties went, I'm sorry. Does anything need lifting? I'm very strong. Aleksander and Kristoffer rolled their eyes. Their auntie was now twice the size and super strong. That was good. But not so good for fitting inside the spaceship to get back home. Damn it. What were they going to do? Sky said, there's nothing else for it. She's going to have to ride on top. Oh, man, said Aunty Lisa. I'm going to have to hold my breath all the way back to Earth. Fine. Well, they said goodbye to the teeny tiny dinosaurs that were living on Mars. And Moonlanding got inside the spaceship and Sky and Aleksander and Kristoffer followed. And Aunty Lisa held onto the spaceship's steps. Yes, the handlebars that are next to the steps. Because you always should have handlebars for safety. Anyway, she grabbed hold of those. And Moonlanding went, ha, 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 and the spaceship went, pew, and started flying all the way back down to Earth. And landed in the sea. Whoosh. And Aunty Lisa went, oh, that was horrible. I had to hold my breath all the way back from Mars. Oh, my goodness. But she was still super strong, which was lucky. Because of this, which was they would landed in the middle of the sea. How were they going to get the spaceship and everyone in it back to the shore? Well, this is how. Aunty Lisa was super strong and she swam that spaceship all the way back to the shore and dragged it onto the beach. And everyone on the beach was like, whoa, that auntie is super strong. What on earth happened? Aunty Lisa didn't like to admit that she'd eaten a cake she found on Mars, because you should never eat random things you find in places. Anyway, as luck would have it, the effects of the cake gradually wore off. Aunty Lisa felt a little bit sick, but eventually she shrank back down to normal auntie size. And she went, oh, this been a hell of a day today, hasn't it? We were only supposed to go to the aquarium, but we have made a brand new friend called Moonlanding, and he can now live at the rocket-shaped climbing frame outside the Science Museum. But we should probably do a fundraiser to fix the Science Museum roof, okay? And everyone agreed that they would do a fundraiser to fix the Science Museum roof, especially Moonlanding, who said that he could do special selfies with people who wanted to have a selfie with a ghost, because who wouldn't? How cool would that be? So that's what they did. Moonlanding became an overnight celebrity because everyone thought, wow, an alien that's a ghost that we can be friends with. This is so cool. And when he sneezes, electricity happens and makes things fly. Amazing. So he was a celebrity and he went on all the chat shows and everything. And Aunty Lisa and Aleksander and Kristoffer and Sky and Moonlanding raised loads of money to fix the Science Museum roof, and even enough money to do a little extension onto the rocket house for Moonlanding, which included not just a slide, but one of those fireman poles to zoom down as well. So everybody was happy. And that is the end of the story. Love you. Night night.